السلام عليكم.
لازم تعمل تليفونك رمضان دحين شو الكلام الفاضي.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. Before I start, I would request the brothers to move forward, fill up the gaps, brothers. The brothers who come later on, they have a space. Would you move forward? قربوا يا أخوان، الذي عنده يعني أي مكان فارغ أمامه فليقرب. جزاكم الله خير. املأوا الصفوف. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الكلام كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أما بعد، أيها المسلمون، إننا نسمع كثيرا ونقرأ كثيرا عن كلمة أن الحياة فرص. We read a lot and we hear a lot about that the life is full of opportunities. So فما هي الفرصة? What is the opportunity? As some scholars said, like Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, he said to do it before it's too late, to do it at its right due time. If you miss this opportunity, once it's gone, it's not going to come back. Such as our youth. When we are young, we can do whatever we want if we are strong. But when we are old and we try to be young again, to be a youth, it's impossible to bring that. So a Muslim should take care of that and do it rightly from the beginning. And it is like when you eat a fruit. That is the opportunity. When you eat a fruit, when it is fully ripe, it is right time to eat it. If you take it before, it has a different taste. If you take it afterward and it becomes mold, right, or spoiled, you don't eat it. So this is the opportunity. The person should grab it right away and not to let go of it no matter what. This is the opportunity that every Muslim should look for. Now, the Prophet ﷺ is the teacher of all goodness. He encouraged us ﷺ to take advantage of the opportunities once we have it. And he also ordered us, not he encouraged us, but he ordered us to do so. فمنها قوله صلى الله عليه وسلم, where the Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم said, اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس. Take advantage of 5 before 5. شبابك قبل هرمك. Your youth time, when you're young, شبابك, when you're youth, before you get old. وصحتك قبل سقمك. Also, when you are healthy, before you become sick and very ill. وغناك قبل فقرك. And use the money and the wealth that you have, the richness, before you get poor. وفراغك قبل شغلك. Also, your free time, you have a lot of free time. Use it before you get very busy. And you want to do so many things, but you're not able to do it because you wasted that time. And so the Prophet ﷺ is telling us to take advantage of those things. We should take advantage of them because they do not last. The youth doesn't last. The health doesn't last. The wealth doesn't last. The free timing doesn't last. And the last one, the life doesn't last. Once death comes and strikes, you're out. And you gotta go to check for the test that you've been doing for the whole year, for the whole life of yours. Now you're going to check for the results. Did you pass the test or not? So the person should take care of it before it's too late. He should take care of those things, those 5 things that the Prophet ﷺ. So we should take good care of it before it's way too late, and later on we are going to regret. The Prophet ﷺ is telling us about شبابك قبل هرمك, your youth before you're old man or an old lady. And this is the first opportunity the Prophet ﷺ is telling us to take advantage of it in what benefits us in our religion, in our world that we're living in, and for the hereafter as well. The Prophet ﷺ is telling us not to waste this life and this youth in particular in having fun all the time, playing around, because you have so much time you don't know what to do with it, and with the desires that a lot of people that they follow. So the Prophet ﷺ encouraged us to take good care of the youth, because it is the time of plantation, it is the time of hard working. Afterward, you cannot do anything when you are old. So you should take care of that. And this time, because it's a time between the childhood and being old, this time is very important. That's when you going to plant whatever you want to plant in your life. That is the right time to do it. Afterward, you cannot do it. And remember, when we're talking about the youth, we're talking about between 30 to 35 years. After that time passes, a lot of people, they cannot do that much about it because it passed already. So every minute in our life is a chance. It is an opportunity to take good advantage of it. Once it passes, you cannot bring it back. I just can give you a very, very simple example. I started the khutbah probably for about 5-7 minutes now. I cannot bring the time back. None of us can bring that time back. The same thing. All of our life is that way. Because this is how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be very active and working. Because the soul, our souls, if we're not going to get busy with the truth, what benefits it, it's going to get us busy with the falsehood, with so many things that is irrelevant to our future and our life. Now, the Prophet ﷺ is telling us this because this time of period is very important. Today I'm going to talk about the youth. Where are you, our youth? Where are you in Islam? Where are you in practicing the religion of Allah? Allah chose you to be a Muslim. Allah chose you to be an A student, not even A, some of us an A plus. And you say, oh Allah, I cannot do that. I want to be with the F students, to be a failure in life. Allah chose you, and you're saying no. Subhanallah. A lot of our youth, they do not understand the purpose of this life and why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us. Of course, we cannot blame the youth all the time. It is the parents, it is the atmosphere they're living in that made them that way. So, I'm talking to the youth today. I'm not going to talk about the violation that you guys do. I'm not talking about what you do and you're supposed not to do, because most of us, we know it. We know we are unkind to our parents. We know we're supposed not to smoke, not to drink, not to steal, not to curse, right? And also not to have drugs, not to use the drugs, or commit adulteries. All of that we know it. To the point that some of us, they change their names. From Muhammad to Mo, from Ahmed to Mike, from Khalid to Kelly, from Ted to Tariq, and so on. You keep the list on. Why, brother? Oh, brother, they don't know how to pronounce my name. Meaning, when they come to the Muslim countries, because we do not have to pronounce their names, you have to change their names. They don't, and we learn how to say their names. So it's very important to be proud of being a Muslim. Also, another issue, which is al-qaza'. I'm not going to talk about that. The majority of us, they do the qaza', and yet they don't know the ruling for it that is prohibited by the Prophet ﷺ. Al-qaza' is to shave your hair all the way around and leave the top. To shave it real low, clean cut, and to leave this area only. This is called qaza'. Naha Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam an al-qaza'. He said, do not do that. I'm not going to talk more about this issue. Or the dress for the sisters. That the way they should have their hijab on. I'm not going to talk about that. But in a fast way of reminding them, it's supposed not to be so tight. It shouldn't be transparent that people can see through it. It shouldn't be a garment of the disbelievers, just put like the men pants and shirt, and just put that kind of cover head, and it's okay. It's not. Because Allah revealed verses about this issue. We need to practice our religion right. Some of the sisters, may Allah guide them, they put perfume on before they leave the house. And some of them, they put makeup and come into the masjid. And this is all haram. They should know that if they didn't know. Some of them, they dress to fame, to be famous among the other people. And she wants to be the center of attention, and some brothers might be as well, that they do that. And this, they should be aware of that. Some brothers, may Allah guide them, they have the low-rise pants and the high-rise shirts, and they make salat right there. And when they make their ruku or sujood, their lower back shows, their lower end, the line of that area, it shows. And the women are sitting there and they see him. Also remember, from the conditions of salah, what? To cover all the awrah. If the awrah is exposed, your salah is invalid if you know the ruling. But if you don't know, you have to learn that. Today I want to talk about how to solve these issues. I do want to talk about these issues in particular. We need to talk about the core problem of our issues. Not about the symptoms, but the real cause of it. The real cause of those things. So the way to do that is to change the way you are living. Truly, you might be in age, what I'm going to say right now, is to think about the future of your children. How do you want your children to be? Better than you? Worse than you? And they're not going to be like you. Because our children are born for their time. We were born for our time. Everyone is going to live his time. So whether you believe it or not, that's what it is. So we should be aware of that. And if we are serious and we want to change, there are ways to change. There are ways to change. And I'm saying that because we want you, brothers and sisters, young ones, to be a tool of construction for Islam in this country, not a tool of destruction. We want you to build monuments for Muslims here, so that they can practice their religion and teach it and invite others to Islam. We need the brothers to be in charge of those places. Most of the people who are in charge, very old people. We didn't see any young brothers jumping in to learn how to run the places and to do that job. I'm telling you that because if you look around, The vast majority of us, in about 30 years or so, we're not going to be here in this place. We're going to be leaving this world to the world of barzakh, the world of burial. And what you guys going to do if you're not ready to practice your religion right? So I hope you are ready to do so and change. We're not talking about khutbah, just a kind of a speech that it moves us, we nod our heads, and everything is fine, and I go home and haven't changed anything. So I hope, and I'm asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you will be ready to take their position in this issue. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي. Before I start, I would like to remind the brothers who are using their phones, texting or talking during the khutbah. You cannot do that because that invalidates your reward. You're not going to get the reward for Jum'ah. For Salah, yes, you will get it, but the reward for Jum'ah, you will not get it. I'm reminding the brothers to do so, and those other brothers who are sleepy during the khutbah is to go and make a new wudu so they will wake up. Or if somebody he wants to sleep and he closes his eyes and he doesn't remember what the imam is saying or the khatib, that means he went to sleep. And he cannot make salah without wudu. What invalidates wudu? Sleeping. So the person has to be awake. But if he closes his eyes and he understands everything was said, that's fine. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه أجمعين. So I said, and that is the question if we are ready. Let us start with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need to learn how to take good care of those places we're talking about. Masjids, Islamic centers, schools, etc. and so on and so on. We want to be, some of you are imams, to memorize the Quran, to learn the religion of Allah, and we're not going to keep importing imams, because once the imam is gone, we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. So we have to have 6, 10, 20 brothers here who memorize the Quran, and when the imam is absent, somebody will replace him right away. And this is very important to remember. We need Islamic teachers for those schools. Remember, those Islamic schools, they need teachers. They need counselors. They need principals. The community needs a kind of counselors, marriage counselors, youth issue counselors. All of these issues we need it. But where are we from it? We always talk about it, but how much did we apply of that thing? So the solution for all our problems starts with the first verse was revealed to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Iqra, bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Read. Right? This is the first verse Allah is telling us that He sent down to us. Read. In the name of your Lord who created. Then Allah said, اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. خلق الإنسان من علق. He created man from a clinging substance. اقرأ وربك الأكرم. Recite, and your Lord is the most generous. Who taught in the pen. الذي علم بالقلم. علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. He taught the man what he didn't know. He taught our father Adam that he didn't know nothing. Allah taught him. So if you see the verses talks about read, iqra, and write. So someone who wants to learn his religion, and he's a serious student, even in Fresno State, he has to read his textbooks, and he has to take notes and write it down. This is the first step for us. Why? So that we know our religion, we know it now, After we know it, we practice the sound religion that we're supposed to practice. Then the third thing, علما or عملا, علما نافعا. A beneficiary knowledge, which means that changes my way of behavior, changes the way I think, changes the way I deal with things. That's how it's supposed to be, this knowledge. I learn the knowledge, I practice this knowledge has to change my attitudes, the way I am, according to the teachings of our Islam. I'm going to ask you very simple things. When you learn this, you're going to be able to teach your children. And who is not afraid or scared or frightened for his own children? That something might happen to them. I might die now, and what's next? What's going to happen to them? I'm always concerned about what's going to happen to them. So as we see, the Islamic schools are very expensive. We cannot afford it, majority of us, because we didn't have that fund for it. If I have 4, 5, 6, students, from where I'm going to spend on them. So then I will send them to those public schools. Now, I have an idea to tell you about that, because our children are going there. I'm not saying take your children out of there. They are there, they are there. But anyway, let us set a plan that we bring our children to the masjids. When? After they finish the school day, you bring them right away to the masjid. Their mothers will bring the food for them here. They will do their homework here. They're going to take a break. They will take their homework here. And then the students from Fraser State will come and tutor and help those students who are in need in the masjid. And after they did all of their homework, they're done. You're going to give them a free time. And after that, you need to teach them what is very important for them, which is the Arabic language, the Quran, and their religion. They need to learn those 3 things. If we do those things, we will be changing our life, because the Prophet ﷺ said, طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم. Seeking knowledge is obligated upon every Muslim, whether he is a male or a female. When he wants to pray, he has to know how to make salah. Before, not in salah. Wudu, the same thing. Fasting, whatever it is, the issue, he has to learn it before he applies it. So if we do that, things will change a lot by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we bring our children here, and they do that, they make their salah, their parents bring the food for them, and then you will have special classes for them, and for their parents or their mothers who are here, you can have special classes for them to teach them about Islam, to increase their knowledge, the level of their knowledge, so they will be able how to treat their children and so on. Now, this is a very important thing to remember. If we really love our children, I'm talking about the youth, not the old guys. The old guys have grandchildren already. If you care about your children, this is what you need to do. Now you might took 50% of the knowledge of Islam from your parents. How much your children you are expecting they're going to take from you? Half, again, 25%? And how much is that? For them, to give them to be alive on Islam. They never took any doses against these diseases that they see, against the doubts, against the desires. Now, if they have those shots and they've been vaccinated against those diseases out there, they will be performing better. Where are they going to get it? They're going to get it in the masjid and in the schools by the will of Allah. If we do that after, I'm not going to exaggerate, 5, 6 months down the road, you will find our children, they're going to be behaving differently. In school, in masjid, in home, the parents will see the fruits by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because listen, if you don't get them busy right now, when they're young, and you cannot control them, they're going to get you very busy later on in life. when you cannot control them anymore. And you're going to be crying for them to listen. They're not going to listen because you failed to raise them Islamically. I'm talking about the youth now. Remember who am I talking to? The youth. Whoever got married or is going to get married or is not married yet. If you do not do that, who's going to be given the khutbah? Who's going to be leading the salah if you don't have those people? Are we going to keep bringing them from outside, importing those imams? And once the imam dies, nobody knows what to do? This is a very important thing to remember. Even though, if we have this program and the students are excelling and we have high school students who will be doing very well, they can go to the Islamic University in Medina to learn in the city of the Prophet ﷺ, their religion. Most of us, if I'm a doctor, I want my children to be a doctor. If he's an engineer, I want him to be an engineer. If I am a nurse, I want my daughter to be a nurse. And the list goes on. How many of us seriously talk to their children to be an imam? Because we think imam doesn't make that much money. So why should I take it? But they're forgetting how much reward he's getting every day by teaching the people. And the people are teaching it to others. It's getting multiplied. And maybe you, the father, are the reason behind those. That your children will be learning. And they're going to teach it to others. And others. Allah knows best. 500 years after your death or whatever it is, still the good deeds are coming to you. This way, we can be very effective toward our children to do so. To stay still in our religion. You think this place cannot do it. A lot of us, we are belittling the masjids. We think the masjid is just a place for old guys, brothers who are retired already, they have nothing to do, they can go there and do whatever they want to do. But I can tell you about some brothers that they were in this masjid and they succeeded in learning the knowledge of Allah. The knowledge of this religion. They succeeded in learning the knowledge of this religion. Now, one of them is Brother Ali Shabazz. He was the Imam of Masjid al-Aqaba. He graduated from this masjid and he became an Imam there, who died a year and a half, rahimahullah, in the car accident. We have another brother who was a student in Fraser State from Kuwait. He graduated as an electrical engineer. But when he went back there, he learned in this masjid. He became an Imam until now. And we're talking about almost 16, 17, 18 years. He's a teacher now. Another brother, he was here, he was a physician. He was a doctor. When he went back to Jordan, he became an Imam in that masjid that he was there. Also, two brothers who were here, they moved to another city. Now they are the Imams in those masjids, they are the teachers. Most of us, we know the brother, the Japanese brother who was here years back. He became a Muslim in this masjid. He was a student in Fraser State. You know what he is right now? He's almost 30. He is in the city of the Prophet. He is in the university there, Al-Jam'a al-Islamiyya, to learn the religion of Allah, so that he can go back to his own people to teach them about Islam. So this masjid had a good brothers who learned Islam in this place, and they did affect others as well. And I believe if we do this issue I'm telling you about, if we really do it, I believe we can do it, and some of our children here later on can be like those brothers as well. I will go back again to the youth. When the Prophet ﷺ, he said, he's reminding us about death. لا تزول قدم ابن آدم يوم القيامة. That the feet of son of Adam will not be moved from where? When Allah is judging them, holding accountability for whatever they did, they will not go to hellfire or Jannah before they answer those 5 questions. The first one is حتى يسأل عن خمس عن عمره فيما أفناه عن عمره فيما أفناه. He's going to be questioned about his lifetime and what did he spend it, meaning the time he lived in this earth, and what did he spend it. The second question, وعن شبابه فيما أبلاه. أبلاه meaning ضيعه, and what did he waste it. So the person again will be asked on the day of judgment about his youth. What did he do with it? And then how did he utilize it? وماله من أين اكتسبه وفيما أنفقه. He will be asked about his question, about his money. How did he earn it, and then what did he spend it? And the last one, وماذا عمل فيما علم. And what did he do in what he have learned in the religion of Allah? Did he practice it, or did he ignore it? So I'm asking you brothers to be very serious about this issue and to arrange about this project with the brothers who are in charge in this masjid to start this with our children and not to keep complaining and crying. Some people might say, my children are still young, I didn't have children, but all the Muslim children are yours. Your children who are young, very quick, they're going to be old and you're going to be able to do anything about them, believe it or not. So I wonder who will start with the changes for the Muslims in Fresno. We have 5 facilities here, 5 masjids. Hopefully that all of them will do this project. If we say we have more than 10,000 Muslims in this country, in this town, that means the masjids, they're not going to be sufficient for them if we truly do this program. I will raise a very amazing remembrance to you. How many of us, they've seen a grand Muslim young person who is living here in the US, he's a grandson of so-and-so, and this person is still holding to his Islam, to the sound Islam, and he's practicing. I don't know how many of us, they've seen those great sons or the great sons of ours. So we need some people to sacrifice for the sake of the community to start this project for the continuity of the next generation to stay in Islam and to keep the banner of Islam raised highly. We have to raise this banner highly for the new generation who are coming afterward, in order they will act upon it and they will learn the knowledge. So again, I'm going to say this: the one who will not make his children busy from now, they're going to make him busy later on, while he will going to regret, and there's no way to regret. Before I conclude, remember the Prophet ﷺ, at his time, the vast majority of people who believed in him, they were the youth. They were very young. Go check about those companions, how old they were when they became Muslims. They were very, very young. It wasn't the old people who did that. Remember our youth? In 30 years or so, Allah knows best what's going to happen. What you going to do? Especially about the issues in the schools, public schools, LGP, whatever they call that name. What you going to do when your child goes there and he comes home and he's talking to you about this issue? Now, I'm saying to all of us, all young people, you are in this country. Are you going to be the ones to support Islam to keep going like the companion did, or not? I will leave this answer of this question for everyone to do so. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا واعف عنا. اللهم يسر أمورنا وفرج كروبنا. اللهم انصر إخواننا في غزة يا رب العالمين. اللهم انصر إخواننا في غزة يا رب العالمين. اللهم أنزل السكينة عليهم. اللهم ارزقهم الطمأنينة. اللهم أفرغ عليهم صبرا وثبت أقدامهم وانصرهم على القوم الكافرين. اللهم انصر إخواننا، اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين، اللهم انصر الإسلام وأعز المسلمين وذل الشرك والمشركين. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وأقم الصلاة.